Hey, what's up everyone? No, that intro sucks. Hey, what's up everyone? Never mind. I've always had trouble looking at people in the eyes. Actually, I've always hated it. And the worst part was when I got scolded by an adult when they'd say, "Look at me in the eyes when I'm talking to you." No, just no. I don't want to look you in the eyes because I can see what's deep inside you. And I don't want you forcing me to look inside you. So I've always did everything I could to avoid having to do it. Shyness, trauma, cultural trait, autism, screen addiction, all of the above. All I can say is that something eventually made me crawl out of my shell a little bit. Anyway, if you're like this too, then this video might interest you. Using my own experience, we're gonna explore this phenomenon. Fair warning, I don't have some magical solution for you if looking people in the eyes is a problem. I just think there's no way I'm the only one who does this. Alright, cue the jingle. Oh, and by the way, today's painting isn't exactly related to the topic, as always. Jingle! I feel like opening videos with jingle isn't very modern anymore, but it's an easy transition. So anyway, when I was a kid, and honestly until not that long ago, I always hated looking people in the eyes, especially for a long time. That kind of thing terrified me. It straight up made me anxious. Call me crazy, but I think expecting someone to look you in the eyes is aggressive and intrusive. I'm not denying my culture, but actually, no, honestly, I am denying my culture. But what I mean is, why does my culture expect people to look each other in the eyes? What's the point? I don't get it. It's kind of funny that the more culture I discover, the more I realize sustained eye contact is almost the anomaly. At most, people might look each other in the eyes, but if they get offended because the other person avoids their gaze, then they're kinda acting like children. I don't know, man, it drives me insane. Sometimes I'd get scolded. Yeah, that happens when you're a kid or a teenager. You do dumb shit, that's normal. And because of that, sometimes you get yelled at. Okay, I skateboarded the school hallway. Yeah, it was stupid, and I know it. So an adult yells at me, fine, I accept my fate. After all, if you live by the sword, prepare to die by the sword. Yell at me, okay, but don't ask me to look you in the eyes, because I don't want to be forced to look at your ugly fucking face. Because I don't want to see how deep down I know you're a massive pile of shit. Simple, right? I barely look people in the eyes because most people are full of confusion, bitterness, anger, hatred. And I refuse to let myself get covered in that against my will. So yeah, that led to a lot of situations where people thought I was some kind of delinquent. And honestly, looking back, I don't care. There were a few people I could actually look in the eyes. People I knew, like some of my friends or some members of my family. But sometimes also complete strangers. And actually I think that's pretty cool because it's not about trust or appearance. When I was a teenager, I used to talk to homeless guys hanging around outside of my high school. I had zero problem looking them in the eyes, but there's one experience that really affected me. I could have talked about it in a bunch of other videos because it's something universal, at least that's how it feels to me. Basically, I must have been around 14 or something. It was in Italy. I go there often because I have my family there. That's just lore information. And there was this guy. I don't remember if he was a cousin or a family friend. He had just arrived, and since it was some kind of tradition to welcome people when they came back home, we went to greet him. And my cousin or aunt or great aunt said, "This one, his wife is Russian. She lost the baby during the pregnancy." And that kind of broke my heart. Oh, also, why did my aunt specify she was Russian? Like that had anything to do with it. Anyway, I saw that woman and I took her hand to greet her. I knew she didn't speak Italian, so I didn't say anything since she wouldn't have understood. And back then, I didn't speak Russian yet. And honestly, now I can only introduce myself and say I like chilling at the beach. But I don't know why, I kept holding her hand and looked her the eyes for a while. Then she let go of my hand and hugged me. It makes me want to cry every time I think about this story. What? Does it bother you seeing a guy cry? At least I'm not pretending to be some kind of alpha male hoping people won't notice I'm gay, alright? Anyway, all of this to say, if I don't look people in the eyes, it's not a cultural reaction, it's not a defiance, it's not arrogance, it's not a disease. I think it's simply empathy. And in a world where empathy is basically forbidden, then of course it makes some sense to feel bad when you're empathetic. And empathy doesn't care about artificial appearances. Empathy sees further than our eyes do. I think it's the sixth sense. Not like that little shit from the Sixth Sense thing, corpses everywhere. There's another story I want to share about this. Back in high school there was this girl in my class who was very shy. And every time we had to talk, I'd see her avoiding my gaze. She was one of the only people I had ever seen do that in my entire life. Or rather, my entire life before I went to Asia for the first time, but we'll go back to that later. Anyway, every time I saw that girl doing that, it disturbed me. How? I'm supposed to be the one who does that. Damn, the main character syndrome is strong here. I have no idea if she did it for the same reasons I did. If she did, then I understand because I have to admit back in high school I was a real asshole. Youth. Fuck, I'm only 31. Why am I talking like this? Wait, 31 already? Whatever, let me suffer in peace. But basically, this girl made me put things into perspective. I don't really know how to explain it, but I think it helped not being the only one in that situation. Doesn't matter if the causes were different, because what affected me the most were the consequences. Now, imagine a country where prolonged eye contact is culturally discouraged. In 2027, I went to Japan for the first time. I already spoke a bit of Japanese, so it allowed me to really immerse myself. And there, I noticed that even though people do look each other in the eyes, it's never sustained. At least, it's not the norm. At first I was confused. My whole childhood, people told me you had to look people in the eyes. And then suddenly, 130 million people do the exact opposite. But eventually, I noticed something. In Japan, when someone looks you straight in the eyes, there's way more behind their eyes than there will ever be in a conversation back home. I don't think it's because I studied Japan. I think anyone can notice it as long as they're not complete idiots. Yeah, by the way, I actually specialized in Japan when I was doing my degree. It's just that sometimes during a conversation, the other person will suddenly look straight into your eyes, and that look will be worth 1,000 words. Because beyond the information carried by speech, it also transmits their ki. Honestly, it's easier to explain it by talking about ki. Anyway, I got older. I slowly evolved when it comes to all of this. Now, I can look adults in the eyes, even when they scold me. But honestly, the thing that helped me evolve the most with this was drawing life portraits. When you do that, unless you only draw people from behind, you're not gonna have two cross gazes. And not only you do have to look your model in the eyes, but you also have to make conversation. So yeah, if you do life portraits, talk to your models or they'll ghost you right after this session. Anyway, what you should take away from all of this aside from not being a sociopath, is based on my experience. I can probably say necessity is what made me evolve. But not in the sense of survival, more in the sense of aspiration. I'm still kinda shy. Yeah, let's not bullshit ourselves. So drawing people IRL face to face helps me stay integrated in society. So if you struggle with this too, first of all, is it really that serious? I wouldn't go that far to some extent. And secondly, if you genuinely think it handicaps you, then I'd say you need to find some balance. Like with everything in life. Anyway, hopefully I didn't forget anything, and honestly, I have to admit, I don't really like talking about myself, especially if it's just for the sake of conversation. It's just that I'm still figuring out what to talk about in my videos. And speaking of videos, I'm trying to push this channel to 1,000 subscribers before 2027, just for style points. Now that I've given you this information, you're free to do whatever you want with it. I never should have made that stupid ass bet. And as a reward for making it this far, I've made this unlisted video specially for you. I show some of my works in progress there, and I talk about random stuff related to my artistic practice and my universe, whether it's painting, music, or whatever else. Alright, ciao!